Whoa, I almost lost my balance there. Maybe it's because I'm standing on a planet-sized ball that's spinning at about 1,000 miles an hour and orbiting our sun at over 66,000 miles an hour. So since we are born, one of our underlying challenges is to balance. We start with a deep inhale, followed by a full exhale. And then we scream and cry a little because of the initial shock, but then we balance our feeding with our elimination, our sleep-wake cycles, and we're only able to balance on our stomachs or our back until we develop the strength and coordination to sit up, crawl, and eventually walk. Internally, our bodies are maintaining a balance or homeostasis between all of its systems in order to keep us alive. And all along the way, we are met with different aspects of our lives that require balance. We balance our diet, our work and play, our social and alone time, our altruism with our selfishness. Even while standing here, I'm balancing how much I'm pushing forward or back and leaning left or right. So maintaining an equilibrium between all of these factors is where art can come into play. Earlier this year, I challenged myself to do a handstand a day for 30 days and post the pictures on Instagram, some of them with meaningful captions. At the time, I did not know why I picked handstands to deliver these messages. I just thought it was a cool attention grabber. It was after the fact that I realized that some of the captions associated with these pictures were about things in life that required balance. In nature, there is a certain balance that needs to be achieved in order for everything to function at an optimal level. The earth will always balance a bright day with a dark night, a hot, dry summer with a cold, wet winter, other lives coming into the world with other lives exiting it. And because we are designed by nature, it is only natural that we would have that characteristic ingrained in us as well. There is this idea of as above, so below, as within, so without. Everything that's going on internally is directly related to what is going on externally. And everything we do to the world around us, we do to ourselves. And because of this, everything we do, every action we take, has a consequence. Being part of this physical world, we are subject to its physical laws, a fundamental one being every action has an equal and opposite reaction. But these consequences are not always necessarily negative. Sure, if you toss a plastic bottle out on the street, it might get washed into a storm drain where it will end up in the ocean, float around carried by the winds and the currents, and end up being washed up in a beach somewhere. I've seen it here in our own beaches. But also, if you plant a tree today, you will get a plant that provides shade, absorbs carbon dioxide, gives off oxygen, and if it's a fruit tree, it will give you yummy fruit to eat. One thing about our current civilization is that we have become too good at surviving, and we do it by manipulating our environment rather than working with it. This creates an imbalance where we are taking more than we're giving back. We have become disconnected from the very source that sustains us. And because of this, our population has become quite large, and this can cause many issues, such as population pressure, where there are too many people in a certain amount of space that causes tension between them. This can result in conflicts such as petty arguments on a small scale, or even war in a bigger scale. This can also lead to an imbalanced distribution of resources. Especially here in the United States, where we are a culture of making a lot for ourselves, sometimes at the expense of others, it boggles my mind that for being one of the richer countries in the world, we still have such a high rate of homelessness and people that don't have enough food to eat, while others are hoarding millions and billions of dollars for themselves. At the global scale, we are a country that uses other countries for the production of our goods while paying them pennies on the dollar. This is a huge misdistribution of our resources. By now you're probably wondering, hey, what's with the glove? Well, Michael Jackson came to me in a dream one time, and he told me that if I want to make the world a better place, to take a look at myself and make that change. Or maybe it was the radio. But I'm wearing this glove to remember and honor that message. So in order to tip the scale, all you have to do is simply balance your own life. Start by being aware of how your life affects the world around you. Because whether you know it or not, you have an impact in the world. No matter how big or how small, whether you're conscious of it or not, you do have an impact. And if you are not aware of this impact, there's no better time than now to be aware of how your life affects the world around you. Think about it like this. If everybody in this room is holding hands and one person falls, they're going to pull on the people that they are holding on to, causing them to wobble. And if they are not balanced, they might fall, pulling on the next person and so on, causing a ripple effect. And if other people in other parts of the chain start to fall, the whole web might collapse. But the good thing about all of us holding hands is that we can also hold each other up. If each of us can just work on being balanced ourselves, we will not fall. In fact, if you are really stable, you can actually raise other people up, making them more stable and making the whole web stronger. If you look at nature, you can see balance expressed as symmetry, like you see in flowers and plants and leaves and other things, as well as rocks like crystals. Through this symmetry, nature creates beautiful art pieces that you see all around you. Finding balance in your life then becomes your masterpiece. So make it stand out and make it your own. Thank you.